Hey everyone, it's Father Sean for another episode of The Couch Chat. And this week's topic is going to be major expenses, right? How will we use our savings? How will we figure out what capital improvements are people going to be able to donate to capital improvement projects? And so part of the thing with savings, right? The savings that all four of our parishes currently have savings. The thing with savings is some of it is what we call restricted funds. It was given for a particular thing, and it can only be used for that, right? It was given for a particular project. For example, somebody gave a very generous gift to renovate the Faith Center, the kind of old school building at St. Joseph. That money can't be used for anything else. It can't be used to say, like, you know what, actually what we need is a new hot tub. And so we're going to take some of that money to make a hot tub. That's, of course, a bit of a far-fetched example, but it's even, hey, we actually need a new roof. Let's actually take some of that money to redo the roof. Now, you could always call the donor and say, hey, could we do this with the money instead? And they could say yes or no. Same thing at St. Lawrence, right? Currently, St. Lawrence is raising money for the stained glass windows. That money, when it's given for a specific thing, can only be used for that. So some of our parishes have what we call restricted funds in the savings. Most of the money, though, is unrestricted funds in the savings. So the question is, do we pool that or do into a single account? And then in that, do we restrict certain amounts of the current savings for each individual campus? Right? I hope that makes sense. I feel like I'm talking right at my area of knowledge. You know, it's like pushing the boundaries. I don't feel like the master of this. But anyways, so the recommendation that this committee said, they thought we should pool everything into the single savings account, because then things start to really get unfair, because our parishes do have, while everybody has savings, there's vastly different amounts of savings as to what each one has. And part of the reason for that is, what we want to do is build confidence that the Buildings and Grounds Committee, the Finance Committee, is actually going to do what's fair in the recommendations. They're actually going to be able to have those real discussions. And so while things are being pooled, there is a little bit of just kind of an understanding that's tough to put in writing to say, but what we aren't going to do is all of a sudden blow all of that savings, right? Especially if maybe one parish, the parish that had the least amount of savings, all of a sudden has all of their capital improvement wants and needs completed. So that's not part of any of the plan. And there's the finance committee that has to sign off on some of this, anything over a certain amount of money in the archdiocese. And so there's just a practical sense of to pool the savings, but let's be prudent about how we're doing that, to know that it came from particular places. And so let's just be prudent on how that savings is used. I realize that might not be the clearest thing, but the reason for pooling the savings was, let's be able to do what needs to be done capital improvement wise in our parishes and build confidence that things will continue to be maintained and improved in our buildings. And the other kind of question is, related question is, well, are people going to be able to give to capital improvement projects? And of course the answer is yes. And we don't want, if people want to give, hey, here's money, we don't want to be able to say, no, we don't want that or anything. But if people are given but there was this question of, well, can they just donate? Can they just earmark all of their collections, all of their offerings for a particular church campus? And this worry came up as the committee, the group was talking, to say, well, if people are able to just only give for capital improvement projects at the campus they go to, is that the only way they'll give? And the issue with that is, then would our operational expenses, wages, supplies, religious education, all the different programs, would they not be funded? So if people can just give all of their offerings to just the buildings and grounds at a particular place, would the parish itself, Holy Face of Jesus Parish, be insufficiently funded? It was like a real kind of concern. So the group says we'll encourage people to give for particular projects when they come up, but not to have like a capital improvement envelope at the start. Or maybe things kind of in the first year or two, we realize, okay, everybody's working well together, everybody's got some confidence. If you want to start giving money, and we can figure out on the accounting side how to make just an account for capital improvements just at this campus, we'll revisit that in the future. But at the start, it decided we need to actually kind of bring these things together to build confidence and to make sure our operational expenses are met, right? Be able to make sure we can meet payroll, we can make sure to have CCD, our musicians are able to purchase new music and all sorts of stuff like that. So basically that's how the capital improvement thing will work. It will invite people to give for certain things, but most things will be pulled together, and we're going to have to hash this out. Right? We're going to have to talk things out like a married couple would, right? Once they bring their finances together, they got to say, hey, are we going to spend money on a vacation? Or are we going to do this home improvement project, right? You kind of got to hash these things out like a married couple. So anyways, that's where this thing is right now, the capital improvement projects and savings and all that sort of thing with the Beacons of Light, the merger into the Holy Face of Jesus Parish. So Father Sean for another episode of the Couch Chat, and we'll see you next week as we keep talking through the merger meetings. God bless. Take care.